Okay. I need to vent about something because it is driving me insane. I just got out of another relationship that ended the exact same way as the last one and the one before that. Like, different guy, different name, completely different person, but the same ending every single time. And I am sitting here at 2 in the morning like, is it me? Am I the problem?
Okay, first of all, the fact that you noticed the pattern, that already puts you ahead of like 90% of people. Most people just blame the other person and move on.
I mean, I have been blaming the other person for years, but 3 times in a row? At some point you have to look in the mirror, right?
Here is the thing though, it is not that something is wrong with you, it is that you are running a program. Like, your brain has this invisible operating system for relationships, and it was basically installed before you could even talk.
Wait, what? What do you mean installed?
So think of it like your phone's operating system, right? You did not choose it. It came preloaded, and it runs in the background controlling how you text people back, how you react when someone pulls away, whether you cling or whether you ghost. Psychologists call it your attachment style, and it is basically your relationship operating system.
Hold on. There is an actual scientific name for why I keep doing the same dumb thing in every relationship?
There is, and it gets better. There is actually a visual map for it. It is called the attachment grid. Picture a simple chart with 2 axes. One axis is how scared you are of being abandoned. The other is how uncomfortable you are with getting close to someone. Where you land on those 2 lines tells you your style.
Okay, so like a 2 by 2 chart? 4 boxes?
Exactly. 4 boxes, 4 styles if you are low on both. Low fear of abandonment and comfortable with closeness. That is secure. That is the chill one. If you are high anxiety, but you still want closeness, that is the anxious style. The clingy one. If we are being honest, if you are low anxiety, but you hate getting close, that is avoidant, the cold one. And if you are high on both, terrified of being left, but also terrified of getting close, that is fearful-avoidant. That is the one that feels like your brain is at war with itself.
Oh my God. The brain at war with itself. One that is literally me. I want someone close and then the second they get close, I want to run. What is wrong with me?
Nothing is wrong with you, but to understand why you do that, I need to tell you about this wild experiment from the 70s, because this is where it all started.
Okay, hit me.
So your love style was basically programmed before you could even talk, like, before you were 2 years old.
Wait, what? That is insane. How is that even possible?
A psychologist named Ainsworth figured this out in the 70s. She did this wild experiment where she watched what happened when a mom left her baby alone in a room for a few minutes. That is it, mom leaves. Mom comes back super simple. But the way those babies reacted predicted how they would handle love as adults, like 30 years later.
No way. So the reason I keep texting my ex at 2 in the morning was basically decided when I was a baby?
I mean, it is more complicated than that, but the core wiring? Yeah, pretty much. So here is what Ainsworth saw. Some babies got upset when mom left, but when she came back, they ran to her, got a hug, calmed down. Those were the secure ones. They learned that people come back.
Okay, that sounds healthy.
Then there was a second group. These babies completely lost it when mom left, screaming, crying. But here is the weird part. When mom came back, they could not calm down. They would cling to her and push her away at the same time, like, come here, but also go away.
That is literally what I do. I am in this picture and I do not like it.
And then there was a third group, and this is the one that blew everyone's mind. These babies barely reacted when mom left. They just kept playing with the toys. Looked totally fine, super independent. But when researchers checked their bodies, their stress hormones were through the roof. Their heart rates were spiking. They were just as freaked out as the screaming babies. They had just learned that showing it did not help.
Oh my God. So they looked fine but they were falling apart on the inside? That is actually heartbreaking.
It is. They learned that crying did not bring comfort. So they stopped crying, not because they stopped hurting, because showing it did not work, and that pattern followed them into adulthood.
Okay, that is my ex. He was like a brick wall emotionally, and I always thought he just did not care. But maybe he was freaking out on the inside the whole time?
Very possible. And here is the thing. About a decade after Ainsworth, two researchers named Hazan and Shaver asked the obvious question, do these baby patterns show up in adult love? And the answer was yes. Same three patterns. Secure adults were comfortable with closeness. Anxious adults craved it, but panicked about losing it. Avoidant adults kept everyone at arm's length. They found about 56% of adults are secure, the rest are split between anxious and avoidant.
Wait, so 44% of people are walking around with a messed up relationship operating system, and they do not even know it?
I would not say messed up, I would say outdated. But yeah, almost half of everyone, and most of them just think they are bad at relationships.
That is literally what I said at the beginning of this conversation. I thought I was just bad at this.
Right, and I want to be clear about something. Everything we talk about here, this is education, not therapy. If attachment stuff is causing you real pain, like keeping you up at night or making you feel stuck, a therapist who specializes in attachment is absolutely worth it. We are here to help you understand the science, not replace professional support.
Right, but honestly, just knowing there is a name for this already makes me feel less insane.
And that is actually backed by research. A guy named Amir Levine wrote a book called Attached, and one of his big points is that just understanding your style and your partner's style is the single most useful relationship tool out there. Like, the awareness alone changes how you show up.
Okay, so let me make sure I have this. Secure is the chill one. Low anxiety. Comfortable with closeness. Anxious is the one who is always checking their phone waiting for a text back. Avoidant is the one who needs space and freaks out when things get too real. And fearful-avoidant is both at the same time, which sounds exhausting.
That is pretty much it. And here is something important. These are not permanent labels. You are not stamped anxious for life. You can be anxious with one person and totally secure with someone else. It depends on the relationship.
Oh, that actually makes so much sense. Because with my ex who was super hot and cold, I was a disaster. But with my best friend, I feel completely safe. Same me, different grid position.
Exactly. And this is the part I really want you to hear. Insecure attachment is not broken. Your nervous system learned the best strategy it could for the world you grew up in. If crying did not bring comfort, your brain learned to stop crying. If your caregiver was unpredictable, your brain learned to stay on high alert. Those were smart moves for a kid. They are just an outdated survival program for an adult.
An outdated survival program, okay. That is the best way anyone has ever explained this to me. So I am not broken, I am just running old software.
Old software that was written for a completely different environment, and the good news is, you can update it.
Quick pause. If this is making you rethink your entire dating history, hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. Tell us in the comments where you think you land on the attachment grid. Are you the anxious one, the avoidant one, or the chaotic both at once one? We read every single comment. Okay, back to it. Okay, so I have a question that has been bugging me. You know how I said my ex was hot and cold and that drove me crazy? But like, I was also weirdly addicted to it. Is that an attachment thing?
Oh, 100%. This is one of the cruelest tricks your attachment system plays on you when you are anxious. You are drawn to people who are unpredictable because the push and pull activates your alarm system, and your brain reads that alarm as passion, as chemistry, as oh my God, I am so into this person.
Wait, so what I thought was chemistry was actually just my alarm system going off.
Not always, but a lot of the time. Yeah, Levine actually talks about this in Attached. He says anxious people often mistake the activation of their attachment system for love. The butterflies, the obsessive thinking, the checking your phone every 30 seconds. That might not be connection. That might be your nervous system screaming this person is not meeting your needs.
That is wild. Okay, so what does actual healthy love feel like then? Because if it is not butterflies and drama, I honestly do not know if I would recognize it.
Secure love feels calm, and I know that sounds boring compared to the roller coaster. But it is not boring. It is more like you text them, and you are not panicking about whether they will respond. You have a fight, and you do not assume it is over. There is this baseline of trust that lets you actually relax and be yourself.
That sounds really nice, but also kind of terrifying for someone whose nervous system is calibrated for chaos.
Totally normal when your system is used to intensity. Calm can feel like something is wrong, like, where is the drama? But here is the good news. Attachment styles can change, and the first step is exactly what you are doing right now, seeing the pattern.
Okay, so what do I actually do with this? Like, I see the pattern now. What is the next move?
I want you to try something tonight. It takes 5 minutes. I call it the attachment grid self-map. Grab a piece of paper, draw 2 lines making a cross. The vertical line is fear of abandonment. Low at the bottom, high at the top. The horizontal line is discomfort with closeness, low on the left, high on the right.
Okay, so I am literally drawing the grid on paper.
Exactly. Now think about your last relationship. Where would you put yourself on that grid? High anxiety? Low avoidance? Somewhere in the middle? Put a dot there, then put a second dot where you think your partner was, and look at the distance between those 2 dots. That distance? That is usually where all the friction lived.
Oh, so if I am high anxiety in one corner, and my ex was high avoidance in the opposite corner, those dots are as far apart as possible. That is maximum friction.
Maximum friction, and now you can actually see it on paper. It is not some mysterious force ruining your relationships. It is 2 nervous systems pulling in opposite directions. You are not crazy. You just did not have the map until now.
Okay, I am not going to lie. I am kind of emotional right now, because I have spent years thinking something was fundamentally wrong with me, and you are telling me it is just a pattern. A pattern I can see and actually do something about.
That is exactly it. And just seeing the pattern changes how you show up tomorrow. You cannot fix what you cannot see. But once you see it, you have a choice you did not have before.
All right, my brain is completely full. Let me try to land this plane before I lose it all. Number 1. Your attachment style is your relationship operating system. It was basically installed before you were 2 years old, based on how your caregiver responded to you. Ainsworth proved this in the 70s by watching how babies reacted when their mom left the room. Number 2. The attachment grid has 2 axes, fear of abandonment and discomfort, with closeness, where you land, gives you one of 4 styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, or fearful-avoidant, and most people are a blend, not a pure type. Number 3. Insecure attachment is not broken. It is an outdated survival program. Your brain learned the best strategy it could for the environment you grew up in. It just does not always work for adult relationships. And number 4. Awareness is the intervention. Hazan and Shaver's research showed that just identifying your attachment style changes how you show up in relationships. Name the pattern and you start to see it before it runs you.
Nailed it, every single one. And look, this is just the beginning. Knowing your style is step 1. But for tonight, draw the grid, find your dot. That is enough.
I am drawing it tonight, and I am making everyone I know draw it too.
Good, the more people who can see their pattern, the better their relationships get.
If this made you rethink your entire love life, do us a favor, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you landed on the grid. We read every single one. Follow the human code wherever you are listening.
The human code. The science of why you do what you do.